It's amazing that the music has sort of had this life on the internet.
Wait What, who's been a bit of an internet sensation.
Wait What is one guy, a 24-year-old dude named Charlie.
Your audience feedback has obviously been quite good considering news of this album spread halfway across the world.
My name is Charlie Kubal. I go by Wait What. I released Notorious XX and This Is Real Life. The first one was Biggie vs. XX mashup album. The second was a mixtape of artist-to-artist mashups. Tonight I'm playing Public Assembly in Brooklyn. Looking forward to the show in about an hour.
Chill, Twan, damn, man, a nigga Big got something to say. Yo, Big, what you got to say, Big?
They call me Lil Bay, I be a new day. They wanna smell like me, they want my bouquet. But they can't, they accent it like the UK. Turn that day, Blue Bay, that Pepe, look at the spray. Flagrantly fragrant and they can't escape it. My perfume pursued them everywhere that they went. You don't want a lonely, my cologne alone. It's a load too strong for you to be putting on.
You know, take a relevant, like, alternative song with a, you know, popular, like, hip-hop song and put them together and people like the way it sounds and that's it. But I don't think they, like, really stand the test of time. It's like there's a new mashup every, you know, so often, and like the old ones sort of fade away.
A lot of people put random rap vocals over songs, and it's like, cool, you put random rap vocals over a song. It doesn't matter, because it's just like, you can put random rap vocals over anything. But when people are singing, and there's actual like notes to it, and you match those, and when people think like, oh, these songs work really well together, I never thought about that, that's what makes a good mashup.
There's also kind of a divide, it feels like, in the mashup, or at least sort of how I see it, of sort of like party mashups and sort of more, I don't know, sort of like artist-to-artist, like indie mashups. Like, I think one of the frustrations I've heard a lot of people voice is like, Girl Talk is obviously, you know, great at what he does, Super Mash Brothers is great at what they do. But one of the consequences is like a lot of people when they start mashing up stuff is like they try and make like party mashups and just take something like, you know, ABBA mixed with like 50 Cent. Like basically just like find the most popular stuff you can find and like just put it together and hope it works. Which obviously isn't, you know, that doesn't work.
You make one mashup album and that lasts people forever because they just listen to the whole thing over and over again. It's the only acceptable, I feel like it's the only widely listened to like mix.
So Collision Course, I think it's just Jay-Z being a boss. It's like, honestly. Like, that sounds like a joke, but it's not, because I think Jay-Z has such like a great business acumen, like outside of his music. You know, he's got Rockaware, Rock Nation, like he's got so many things outside of just his music that are, you know, he's a business. It's like the line, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Certain camps tend to be more anti-mashups and sampling, so like Biggie's camp I've heard is one of them, whereas Jay-Z's camp is like very progressive in that sense.
A mashup is like legal and okay when both parties agree that that sample is okay. And they basically got together and said, let's just take songs that we already have, or, I mean, you know, take songs we already have, mash them up live, like record that shit, and then put that out. And so it was like they both took original material they already had, mashed it up with each other, re-recorded it all, and then put that out as an album. Which is very clever because they didn't have to do anything, they didn't have to make anything, they just had to agree to do it.
So you gonna see you can't replace him with cheap imitation. Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cooking raw with the Brooklyn bars. For one last time I need y'all raw.
It's completely illegal. It's no original material. It's just, I mean, you know, there's the, you know, you can't sample more than 30 seconds of anything. Well, you can't sample anything, really.
So it's funny because I was going into this and like, I don't know if it's that other people don't talk about it, but I didn't, you know, I sort of knew that my conception of what the law was, but was really sort of eager to hear if, you know, if other mashup artists like run into this and didn't find much.
But if you sample anything, you have to clear it. That's just like the law. That's how copyright works. People own the, you know, the, whatchamacallit.
The one sort of legal issue I've come across was with the Biggie XX album. It was like 12 days after it came out or something, like really quickly. Biggie's lawyers got in touch, or people from his label were just like, you don't have the rights to this, like cease and desist, a bunch of like legalese and like lawyers talk. So I was like, okay, fine, like I'll take it off my site.
It's viral.
It's viral, and it's like, no, I can't host it on my site, and yes, there will still be some people that are like, hey, can I get the album? I'm like, sorry, dude, like, had to take it down, but like, anyone who has, you know, knows Google and is like slightly resourceful can find it. So
thank you. That was exactly the word I was looking for. The intellectual property that they create. And studios own the tracks themselves. Studios own the sound. Artists own the intellectual property, or the artist agents bargain for them to own the intellectual property because they fucking thought of it. But either way, you have to clear a sample. So mashups, in their own way, are illegal, which is why Girl Talk's record label, I think, it was either called like Illegal Art or something like that.
One in the hole, Nate Dogg is about to make somebody's turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate.
No, I had to take it off my official site. The mixtape is.
Okay.
But the Biggie XX I had to take down. That was sort of the condition of not getting sued.
I think selling them should be illegal.
You know, people who get the Notorious XX would have bought Life After Death or Ready to Die or the XX's album, and now they're not.
Taking like chapters of different books, putting them together and selling that as your own book, but it's not your book, it's other people's.
Which to me sounds like kind of absurd.
Selling mashups and putting them out as like mixtapes or just for free on the internet are different things.
I've probably only heard the XX record like 2 or 3 times. It sort of struck me as like just a really like personal, honest record, and sort of struck a chord with me. Like this would be cool to sort of reinterpret in a different way.
Okay.
And since that record came out, they've been in touch and been like super cool about sort of reappropriating their albums. So
okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Did you ever worry about that?
I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
Yeah, I did. I mean, well, okay, to be honest, I didn't initially, because I was like, there's no way anyone's gonna hear this besides my group of like 10 friends I sent it to. Like maybe some small blog will post it. But really just got super lucky, like right place, right time. And the right people heard it and sort of spread it very quickly.
It's all good. I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal with Robin Leach.
Speaking of hearing a whole like ton of people rapping Biggie live, like obviously we weren't around to hear him actually perform. Jay-Z's doing his thing, he's performing, plays the beat to Juicy, and literally just has all of Yankee Stadium, the whole stadium, rapping that verse.
The mashup comparison is just interesting because I feel like the mashup, you know, not to stereotype it, but it's kind of like the ADD thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's perfect for the stereotype of our generation that everybody has ADD. Actually, no, I am gonna say that mashups were inevitable.
You know, you have sampling and stuff like that where you can sort of take pieces of a song and turn it into something original. And I think, you know, as the technology of sampling has improved, I think it's become easier and easier to like, especially with the internet and stuff like that, where now you can get like an acapella or like an instrumental of a song like free illegally on the internet.
Someone was at some point going to make a mashup for sure. That just had to happen. That had to enter the lexicon of music. Like with the sampler, like with making drums, with recording music, with electronic music being created, plus like digital music production sources like computers, like mashups were just like inevitable. Whoa! These are all my favorite songs from my entire high school career where I really have been into music, and songs that my parents used to like that I recognize because they're ridiculous. My parents used to like them, my frickin' parents, mashed together. It is strictly for our generation. Like our parents wouldn't get it, because even though it's the music that they know, it's treated differently.
The fact that people can make mashups and mix mashups live has changed live music. You know, people go and see Wait What, people go and see Girl Talk, and you know, they see people who make mashups and they go see them live. Even though like it's not their own music, they're not necessarily playing the music live, but they're mixing it together live. You know, whether people go because they like the way it sounds or because of the atmosphere, or because they actually think that like mixing it, you know, takes its own like is a talent in and of itself, like that's its own question.
You know, if you know, it's relying on you knowing every song, and if the song is, if something is constantly engaging, then it's like, why stop doing it?
You know, a mashup is literally taking like 2 full songs, or, you know, like the actual full parts of a song and putting them together with each other. So like, how do you grow from there? You know, it'll change into something else, but I don't know what. You know, and like, you can't get more, like, shit, I don't have a word.
If they're up there playing instruments, for example, I've seen Deadmau5 on stage, or I haven't seen him, but I've seen his stage set. I mean, his new stage setup has keyboards and keys on it so that he can live play instruments. And if he's doing that, that's musicianship.
No technology to the sampling technology to now being able to mash up completely, like, where do you go from there?
Regardless of your music education when you were a kid, or, you know, whatever your parents were into or whatever your friends were into, like, you got more interested in music once you changed schools.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Once you like grew up that little bit, music became, I feel like widely music became more important to our generation.
Changed live performances in that, like, people will go and see somebody live and it's more of like a party than really appreciating the music necessarily, because you've heard all the songs individually before. You're just like going there, you hear something that sounds good, and it's just like, let's go.
And get ready, cause this shit's about to get heavy. I just settled all my lawsuits.